I'm learning with this is that it just like a lot of times like you'll watch different content with people online. It seems like they're almost like dancing around certain subjects and certain words. But I've come to appreciate that the platform is actually is that sensitive that if you say the right wrong thing, it'll crash your whole thing that you got going on, and you won't know what just happened to what you think you were doing. And that was just a nice way of telling you go on somewhere with that, because I think that like online, like you have like online social media in general, but like we're be people different people coming together like on any platform, because this platform is still technically social media. Sometimes you don't appreciate actually how much commerce is flying around at the speed of light online. And it's actually kind of a miracle that a lot of things don't go more heinous as much of commerce is going on. But you can just appreciate that there's a lot of commerce going on these platforms. So you therefore have a lot of interest involved of anyone that would be on them, operating them, or interfacing with them. So it's a lot of I'm actually re- recognizing now that you have to be careful how you couch things, because it's technically you're in a political space to be online for anything. Like a lot of times, like say you were an artist, you wouldn't appreciate an artist as being political, but like there's some artists that like I don't like I think it's really kind of mean spirited to say that anyone is reminiscent of another person, because you're fundamentally writing off a person's humanity, that is their personality, their humanity, when you say someone's like someone. So like even if like I had a stream before this yesterday, it kind of got off into the weeds, but someone said, "Hey, you're gay," or "Hey, why are you gay?" It's not that there's a problem with gay. I said on that live is that I haven't actually been sexually active with someone of my same gender. I've been sexually active, but not with someone of my same gender. So I wouldn't technically. I don't think if a lot of times we're not clear about terms like in the modern reality, so we don't know what we're reaching for with certain statements. Like even the word gay, it can be ambivalent, like because it came from meaning happy, I think, in the past. But then I think actually if you call someone gay, if you call someone a gay person, that may actually be a connotative construct, because you are using the connotation of what gay seems like, because gay means happy. So you're saying that what, but the connotation of gay is to be too happy. That's what you're implying. So you're saying that you are someone that would seem to be too happy. Therefore, you're not sure about how that person would get down in a bedroom based on the fact that they're this happy. So that would make them have to be like everyone else that you know of, either firsthand or not, or that you imagine of, that would get down one way in a bedroom based on their comportment outside of a bedroom, but also what you know of inside the bedroom, which you wouldn't be privy to know what someone had going on in the bedroom of a different orientation unless you had somehow had access to that lifestyle. You're it's connotative because it's outside of what the actual word means in terms of etymology. Therefore, you can imbue it with inflections, and you can make it derogatory when it didn't have to be. How can you turn a word that means happy into a slur? How can you turn the word happy into a slur? You can turn damn near anything into anything if you mean it that way. But the way that you would do that is to interject connotation into what you're denoting, because you're denoting, the word gay denotes happiness, but it connotes a sexual orientation in a way that's heavy-handed, and it's not congruent or honest to who a person is that you're meeting and that you don't know. And it's the same thing with like calling a person crazy. Is that if you were to break down the word crazy came to be used, what it literally refers to, and how people overlay it onto one the other, that may be actually a denotative statement crazy, but you can also use a denotative statement with connotation, and you can introduce a lot of injury and insult and needless pain the way you would do that with words, because words are very, we organize our mind, therefore our thoughts, ideas, and goings on based on words largely. So words have the potential to be very detrimental. But what would be derogatory about something like gay or crazy is not that person doesn't actually have something of that, or has free to be something of that and not, as they choose to and not, which is still their prerogative at all times, at all points. It's your prerogative to be as you choose to be. Yeah, you went to prom with this person, but now you like this person. Nothing's stopping you from liking this person because you had went to prom with that person, and vice versa. So you're free to decide and undecide and we decide as is your liking and your enjoyment, because we forget life is for enjoying, baby. This thing is for enjoying. Like this, enjoy yourself, baby. That's my word to anyone and to myself, which is anyone. Enjoy yourself, baby. Is for enjoying. But to say that you are like another person, because I said in the video that didn't make it up, is that even where two people we're two people to be gay, they're not gay the same way, because they have different things that turn them on and turn them off, different kinks, different fetishes, different ways of entering into romance, different ways of entering into gratification, which gratification in romance is not always the same way, and the way we understand that is not the same way one to the other, one that can be like the other but not is not the other. So it's fundamental. The highest thing you can insult a lot about a person. Like I'm fortunate that I'm a little bit tall of stature. I'm exactly 6'4" with my shoes on. I'm a solid 6'4". So I normally don't get a lot of a hard time about my stature, because you wouldn't really mock a person for being less of stature up to 6'4", but then if you're under 6'5", you wouldn't give someone a hard time about being very tall. So you can it's almost like a on paper it's almost ideal, almost ideal height range, but that doesn't mean it's everyone's cup of tea, or that you're getting any pats on the back for it. But just that I don't get a lot of flack about being about my stature in general, and then I have like a pretty healthy body weight for my weight. So I don't get a lot of flack. You know you're doing well with things when you don't hear about that shit. Because if you weren't doing well, that's all you're gonna hear about. So another one is that I don't hear a lot of shit about my hair a lot. I don't have the greatest hair, but I don't have the worst hair. But I don't hear a lot of shit about it a lot. But what would be a higher tier of insult is to mock someone's mind, because you can say, yeah, man, I'm not these things I'm wearing, I'm not necessarily my hairstyle or lack thereof. But if you mock or deride or dismiss or conflate that, like when you say you're like this, you're this thing, that's what other people are, but it's also you're conflating those other people with this person who's actually unique. And that's what's more that's what we can't as soon not identify with our mind, because that's actually you don't know about this life, you don't know what conceives this life, you don't know what inspires and facilitates this life and surpasses this life. You don't know that, generally speaking. You do know that you are given certain graces in your life, certain bounties, benefits, lessons, hardships, sufferings, enjoyment that amount to your personality. You were afforded that much. Anyone watching this, you were afforded a personality by a lot of mercies, heavenly mercies, hard-won mercies that you know of, but largely that you don't know of, that allowed you to get to be you like that. So that's the one thing you can say about this life that you know for sure, is that you are unique, and you are also allowed and inspired and appreciated on the greatest sense for being unique. That's you. That's yours right there. Ain't nothing getting over on that without your permission. Is you right there. But when you say, "No, man, but you're crazy. Your ass is crazy. Your ass is gay. You're like this and that." There's nothing wrong with being crazy in itself, because that's actually where the ideas come from. That's where I made different content that didn't get up. Is that they say that our greatest thinker, that our recognized greatest thinker, it would be Einstein. That's who we're taught in school is celebrated as the greatest thinker. And he exactly said the exact wrong shit, but he's also not wrong for saying it, because the exception proves the rule. He said that to do one thing over again and expect a different result is the definition of insanity. But according to Nicholas Nassim Taleb, that's actually the standpoint of invention, because the mother of invention is necessity, but the father, or what gives the opportunity what gives the playtime to be inventing things is the tinkering of it. I'm sorry, the mother of invention is the tinkerer. Nothing happens without the mother say so. Nobody. You don't get to do that. Mom didn't say so. Yeah, mom said I gotta come with your ass to the mall today, because your ass ain't going unless I come with you. Mom has said that, and you ain't arguing with that one, because that you ain't arguing with mama now, or little bro and them, because little bro and them got to stand for mom. That can show you how hellfire little bro and them can be too. But it ain't going over without mom like that. But then the actual the mode and means of invention, the mother of it is necessity, but the means and mode of it is actually tinkering, repetition. That's the I'm damn near about to call Nassim Nicholas Taleb the great Nassim Nicholas Taleb, if you can appreciate what he levels in his books. The Black Swan. It's funny. I was reading this book called The Black Swan, Anti-Fragile, and skin in the game, if you can appreciate what those titles would mean, what may mean, right up to, next to, and coming into the pandemic. I've been reading those for a couple years before the pandemic kicked off. Then the pandemic kicked off, and that person, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, he was giving some badass insider conferences at Google around the time of the pandemic, just talking about, yeah, man, this is the bullshit I've been telling your ass about for the last 5, 10 years. But here you go, your shit right here I've been telling y'all about. But he said it very cool, like very nice. But I had actually been messing with him before the pandemic, and the pandemic was a case in point of what he was talking about. Is that the exact shit you plan not to see is the shit you can expect to see, as in the black swan, as in the pandemic, like that. But I have been rocking with him. But he says that you don't get nowhere past nowhere cool without tinkering. That is trying the same thing again, but ever so differently, but the same thing. And that's my actual approach to music, because I don't go nowhere, and it need to be tinkering all the time if you want to get over. I was playing for someone at a gas station today. A brother on his own shift was talking about rock and roll, so I showed him something I was doing. He was like, man, I'm mess with that right there. I mess with that, what you're doing. That's not an ordinary look that you could break out an instrument and actually get someone compelled like that. But the only way you get to that point is by tinkering it all that time. What I had showed him, I've been tinkering with that for a lot. But that's actually the definition of insanity, is actually the definition of brilliance, is to do the same thing again and expect something different, because you're not dumb enough to think that it would come out different if you did it verbatim, but you could actually do it verbatim, and fortune may favor you, or you could tinker it a little bit, and that's how you actually, that'd be the mother invention. Because how many times did Edison not tinker with the light bulb? How many times did the Wright brothers not tinker with the airplane and also survive their own tinkering? Now that's actually a brilliant invention that they're putting their life on the line. But a lot of times we put our livelihood and reputation on the line, like such as like content like this. You put a little bit of your reputation on the line to come up with some more half-cocked nonsense. But um, if you rock with some of those people, then you can back up some of your statements. If you actually look into those great things like Nassim Nicholas Taleb. But what's more egregious about, like, about calling anyone